Hey, it's Nikki Thompson and welcome to the One Habit workshop. I'm really excited. This is my free workshop where we're going to be going deep into how to kind of really connect to your sexual energy and using the One Habit philosophy in order to get more clarity and confidence in your life, in the decisions you make, and just day-to-day stuff. So I'm really excited. As you're joining, I would love for you to put in hashtag replay if you're watching now replay. If you're joining live, I would love to know where you are watching from. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly share this over into my group. So I have a free group, Momentum, and I want to share that so that everyone in there can see it as well. Let me just do that. So as you're joining, I would love for you to let me know where you're from and why are you here? I would love to know why people are here. And one of the things that I've found so helpful with other workshops that I attend, or even in my own workshops, when people comment and let me know what their key takeaway is, or an aha moment that they've kind of experienced during this workshop, that is what I would love to kind of see in the comments. So if you kind of like, oh my God, that really, really resonated with me, I would love to know what that is. So I'm very excited. Let's get into it. If you don't know who I am, I'm Nikki Thompson. I'm a sexual energy coach. I work with women who are going through transitions in life or simply feeling as though they are lost and trying to work out how to kind of get to their true self. They feel like there's something missing, but they look around and it's like, this isn't the life that I wanted, but how do I get the one that I want? And they're the women that I work with. And I love working with those women because I was that woman. I was absolutely that woman about 4 years ago. So I have 3 children and I got to a point, I was nursing my 3rd child and I was just sitting there and obviously in like a very exhausted, sleepless state. I was feeling as though this wasn't my life. Like I had been the good girl. I'd done all of the things. You know, I'd ticked off the list. I'd finished high school, got degrees, bought the house, got married, had the children, you know, got a great job, like all of those types of things. But I still felt as though this wasn't the life that I really wanted. And I've always been the kind of woman who, if you set your mind to something, I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to achieve it. But I started to realize that achieving that was not necessarily the problem. Like being able to achieve goals is not my problem. And it's certainly not the problem with the women that I work with. Their problem is that the goal I was aiming for was the problem. That goal was defined by everyone else's opinions and not my own. So when I would set that goal, be like, yes, I need to do this. I'm going to be doing this. I should be doing this. And I would achieve it. But then that achievement and that excitement would be short-lived because I would be like, oh my God, this isn't kind of even what I wanted. Like, you know, this isn't, you know, this goal, whatever it was, wasn't coming from my heart. And although I freaking love my life, and I loved my life back then as well, but I just didn't feel happy. I felt as though every decision I make, I was backpedaling. I was doubting my decisions. I was feeling as though like, fuck, I would overthink everything because I wouldn't trust the decision I was making. And constantly looking for outside confirmation that this was the right decision, constantly looking at social media and comparing myself. And so for me, this was kind of the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But it didn't just stop there. And I've just realized I didn't actually share this over on my other page. So I'm just going to quickly do that just so that everyone can see it. So for those of you joining as we go, I would love to know, oh dear, sorry, this is going to be a bit loud. I can hear myself. Okay, So what happened was that I didn't get to that point just like this. I didn't get to that point of like, oh my gosh, I had this massive epiphany and everything changed from that point. It was slow little messages that were coming to me. Slowly but surely, things were coming through. And there was one significant moment, which is when I was on my phone scrolling while I was nursing my daughter at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And there was an orgasm challenge. And this orgasm challenge really made me blush. Essentially, I was not, I was not really sexually aware or anything like that at this point. And so I started reading it because I'm like, I'd refresh my phone so often that there was nothing else new on my screen. And this challenge was really interesting because she was talking about the shifts that happened, not from the orgasms themselves, but from the whole experience. And so she was talking about losing weight, which definitely piqued my interest. She was talking about having more energy. Again, piqued my interest. She was talking about how she made better decisions in her life. And I was like, hold the phone. What the fuck? I need to learn about this, right? So I went and read more and more about this orgasm challenge. It was a 30-day challenge. That seemed really intense to me. I hadn't committed to 30 days of anything. And also the challenge I had is I have 3 young children. Like, I didn't really have time for this. And so I kind of ignored it and just didn't really do much with it. But it was always in the back of my head. Those little messages that you're like, oh, no, I don't have time for this. Or, maybe something costs money. You're like, oh, no, I don't want to spend money on that right now. But that just niggles at you. It niggles and niggles and niggles. Anyway, about a week or so later, I come back and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should do this. I didn't tell my husband at the time. I didn't say anything because I was feeling as though, like, geez, like this isn't me. This isn't me at all. And so continued on with this started this challenge. And I certainly didn't stick to it for 30 days. There was like a lot kind of happening in my life. But the whole experience was quite, I don't know, just it made such a big shift in my life because first of all, I was dedicating time to myself, right? I was dedicating time to myself every day, whether it was a couple of minutes or whether it was half an hour, it didn't matter. But I was dedicating time to myself. I was dedicating time for my own pleasure, which is a big thing. I was experiencing pleasure from my body when previously I'd only felt exhausted. I'd felt disappointed because I had all this extra weight on me and it's like, oh, everything's changed and I don't feel like me anymore. And I was starting to explore this brand new body of mine. And it really was next level for me. And slowly over time, it was not, I didn't do it to the T. It was more like an experience over time. I started choosing better. I started choosing to go and exercise rather than watch another series on Netflix. I started eating better because I was feeling good in my body. I was feeling good and feeling how my body can give me so much pleasure. I can have so much pleasure with my body and it's not just this monotonous or thing that I feel so disconnected by. And so all of these little things started to shift. And this was really the beginning of my own sexual exploration in sexual energy, feminine, masculine energies. And this has brought me to the work that I do today. Because for me, over those past 4 years, so much has changed. I feel like I can't not tell other women about this because I certainly wasn't taught this growing up. My mum didn't know. Her mum didn't know. They didn't know the importance of understanding and reconnecting with our physical bodies. And because when we do that, we can actually hear our intuition, our sexual energy, our gut, whatever you want to call it, so much better, so much clearer when we really reconnect with our bodies, when we appreciate and love our bodies. We can really tune in to every part of us because our intuition is what most people call it, kind of whispers to us through our body. Maybe we've got a headache, maybe we've got a pain here, maybe we've got a stomach ache, getting butterflies when you're feeling nervous or excited, all of these types of things, the little whispers from our body. But over time, we start to practice tuning in and we see this reaction from our body. And that is what's super important and is a big, big part of this journey. So the one habit is actually learning and practicing daily how to tune into our bodies so that we can hear the internal voices at a higher volume than the external crap that's constantly on replay in our minds at the moment. And so that is the one habit. Now, at the moment, when you're starting off on your journey, that's going to take work. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some practice. But you'll get to a point where that is your default setting. And imagine making decisions every day from that default setting where it's like, okay, I trust my decisions. Okay, it feels amazing. Okay, I know what I really want. And you start to see little things all over your life start to kind of happen. And you create this life that you truly wanted, that you truly love, because you've been making decisions over time from that space. So that is the one habit. And that was the piece that was missing from my life back when I feel like I was aiming for all of these amazing goals and achieving them, but they were not goals from myself, from my intuition, from my sexual energy, from my soul. They were goals from everybody else's opinions, parents, family, friends, society, social media, whatever it is, culture, religion. It's all of those things were influencing my decision. They can still influence your decision even when you're tuning in, but they don't make that decision for you. You make that decision based on your own soul and connection, and that's what's super important. So having that as your default setting allows you to then make better decisions. Now, for me, the women I work with, I use the one habit journey, which is a very it's a summary of kind of the process that we go to get to that point. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's workshop, is this process. I'm going to give you kind of a summary of how it works so that you can get an idea. And I really want you to be able to walk away from this workshop knowing this one particular thing that you can start to do today to start to move forward in creating that as your default setting, so that you can make decisions like this that is from your soul, that you have the energy, because your life is being created by those decisions on a daily basis. So I want to give you that summary as well. I've created a guide. It's a PDF guide that you can download. You don't need to give me your email address, but you can download it, and I've put it in the description above. I can also I will pop it in the comments below because I've shared this around. And this guide will go through those 4 sections quite beautifully and will be something that you can refer to as well in the future. So the first step of this process is where the hard work is kind of done, and that's called connection. We need to be able to reconnect with that voice, right? So the work that we need to do here is start to identify what are those external influences, those external voices that are on repeat in our minds. What are they? We need to write them down. We need to find out, who are they coming from? Is it from our grandfather, our parents, friends, a childhood teacher, or something like that? We need to identify what those external voices are so that we can start to work through those and start to tune them down, and to the point where they will be tuned out. Okay, but that takes time. And so what I want you to think about is, what are those external influences, those external voices that are on repeat? I want you to write them down. And then in that next stage, I want you to start to find space to listen to your soul, to listen and tune into your sexual energy, to your intuition, whatever you're going to call it. I want you to start to find space in your day so that you can start to tune in and turn that voice up. That is the part of connection, right? So what we want to do is, when we are finding our connection, listening to that internal voice, we want to be able to turn that up. All right? So writing that down is really important. Now, finding that space can be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to find more time in my day? I don't have enough time in my day, all of those kinds of things, which is on repeat in my head all the time as well. What I want you to start with is to find spaces that you already have, right? Some blank spaces that we often fill up with our phone through distraction, as a distraction. I want you to use those times as times for listening in and tuning in. So some key points that I think about often is when you're on the toilet, when you're in the shower, when you're in the car by yourself, when you are waiting for the kettle to boil, when you are getting dressed. These are some times that, not a lot's happening. We can kind of have a bit of stillness, and they already exist. We're already doing a lot of those things as it is. And now we can, instead of being distracted by our phone, we could actually stop and listen and try and tune in and really focus on turning the volume of our internal chatter up. So we can listen to not our internal distracted chatter, but our intuition, our sexual energy, our gut, all of those things, whatever you're going to call it. That is what we want to be able to tune into and turn up. So that's the two kind of significant stages. As I mentioned, this is a summary of the 4 stages, and we go into a lot more detail in a number of my programs that I have. But connection is all about turning down the external volume of the chatter of people and friends and family, and finding spaces to really tune in to yourself, to listen to that internal voice. All right, because then we want to start listening to her and really loving her and connecting with her and making decisions from that space, because that is so, so important. All right, so that's the first step. That is the step that we often need most help in. That is the step that we often will stop at. Most people will stop there because it's like, oh my gosh, this is too hard, this is too much, this brings up a lot. So I urge you, if you have a lot of trauma to deal with, I urge you to get support to help you through that process, and also to help you unravel some of those beliefs that we hold on to because of those external influences, okay? Because that's a big part of what our life looks like because of those external beliefs formed from the voices that we heard from when we were a child throughout our life. We get lots of pressures and decisions that are made for us and all of that kind of thing. So that's what connection is all about. The second stage is vibration. Now, vibration is the place where we start to unravel this stuff and really look at how do we want to feel. So we get to a point in connection where we start to visualize who we really want to be. So we've got to a point, I was telling my story earlier where it's like I was at this part in my life and I'm thinking, whose life is this? But I didn't really know what kind of life I really wanted. I didn't know what was really possible. So it takes time and it takes courage to really listen in to your soul and visualize the type of life you really do want. So in vibration, we start to look at what that life looks like. How do we want to feel? Who do we need to be to create the life that we're visualizing in our minds, that our soul is telling us that's possible? Who do we need to be in that space? And you don't need to go and be somebody else, but do we need to be more disciplined? Do we need to have more pleasure in our life? I'm always a fan of that. Do we need to be more organized? Do we need to coordinate our finances better to get to that life that we're looking at? Do we need to take better care of ourselves? Does the woman that you're visualizing, who is she? What is she doing? What does her house look like? What does her morning look like? All of these types of things you can visualize to start to plant the seed of the life that you're trying to create, because that's what's so, so important, is planting that seed here, by looking at what is your soul telling you, the life that you really want. And this can start to give you ideas of how to get there, but we need to see what that looks like. And that's what vibration is all about. It's choosing your vibration. How do you want to feel every day? And what is your day going to look like? So that's the second stage. So we've got the first stage of connection, the second stage vibration, the third stage is habits. So we talk about the one habit, which is about really connecting, always choosing to connect to our soul. Listen to that before we make decisions, before we start, all the little things, and that will become our default setting through this whole process. But we now look at the little habits that form that can create the life that we want to live, right? So when we look at the life that we want to live, who we want to be, how we want to live, what our home looks like, our days looks like, what are the little habits that we're going to do daily to get to that point, right? So it's kind of breaking this down. It's like, let's tune in, let's look at the bigger picture. Now we're kind of looking at the little picture of what are the little things that we're going to do daily to get to that point. And it can take time to start to integrate these little habits, but we identify those to start to create the life that we really want, because our days, our life is just all the habits that we do every day. We drive to work the same way, we brush our teeth the same way, we generally eat the same things, we do the same things day in, day out, and that forms our life. We don't have to do it exactly the same, and that's not what I'm saying with the habits, but we need to start to identify what are some habits. So it could be things like, for me, I want to drink more water, because the woman in my vision, she's fit, healthy, very energetic, and that's where I'm headed. And so this woman, she drinks her 3 liters of water every day. So I have 4 glasses. Actually, I've got one here. Like, these are just like glass bottles that I have. I have 4 of them, and it makes up 3 liters. And I fill them up every night before I go to bed, and I drink them. And so before I go to bed, I've had to drink all 4 bottles of water. And it's great because I can take them in the car with me, and I'll still keep drinking when I'm out and about. So that's a little habit that I like to do. It's also next to the supplements I take. So I have my supplements in the morning and at night. And then, these are just little habits that I do. Scheduling my day, all of that kind of stuff. I have an amazing system that I use to schedule my days, my weeks, my months, for my personal life, for my business, all of that kind of stuff that I use. And there are habits involved to maintain that, so that it's not just this, lost system that never gets utilized, essentially. So I'll just quickly review again. We've got connection, where we connect in and listen in. We've got vibration, where we start to choose what our life's going to look like and how we want to feel. And then we've got the little tiny habits that are going to make up that life. The fourth and final piece of this puzzle is called momentum. So now we need to continue this momentum. Often we've made changes in our life that we've never stuck to. We might have stuck to for maybe 2 weeks, a month, maybe 3 months max, but we didn't create the momentum. That piece wasn't there. So we weren't creating the momentum to continue. And so there's some great strategies that we can implement in momentum to keep the habits going, to keep the visualization going, to continue to stick to that one habit of tuning in at every point when we're making decisions. So momentum is a really important thing. In momentum, we want to build a support network around us to continue us in that space. We want to continue learning and growing. There's lots of things that we want to do in momentum, and that's a really important piece of the puzzle. So if people don't stop at that first stage, they don't add the fourth stage. So see, these are some of the mistakes people have made when they're trying to make these amazing changes in their life. They either don't analyze the internal, like the external influences that are constantly chattering in their mind, or they don't create a plan of attack or a momentum strategy to keep going even when things get a bit shit or life changes, different stages of your life, all of that kind of thing. Things aren't implemented there. So that's the process. We've got the 4 stages. As I mentioned, you can get the free guide. It's in the comments above. I'll put it in the comments below as well. And that free guide will show you those through those stages, or that journey of the one habit. Now, when we're talking about the one habit, this is a shift. This is a personal development journey. This is all about doing things differently, and it can apply to any part of your life, your business, parenting, relationships, whatever it is. It's a way of being for you as a person. And it's really important that we start to shift, but we're also supported. Because I know when I've tried to make changes on my own, it does not work. It doesn't work or it doesn't stick, right? And so having support can be really, really important. But what I really, really want to do for you is to help you through all of these stages. Now, I work with women one-on-one, and I do that through, we do weekly call, we do Voxer, which is like a messaging app, so that, you know, if you're struggling one weekend, or if you're really stuck on it making a decision, I can kind of coach you through that decision through Messenger. And I also have the One Habit online program. Now, this online program is my favorite, is my absolute favorite. Now, this program, we go into detail. We spend a whole session on each of the stages of the One Habit. So this is going to help you to actually unravel and actually implement each of these stages in your life. And we do that through a Facebook community. So that the program is done live online, and you're able to ask questions. You will walk away with everything mapped out for you. You'll have this program ready to go. And that is what you want, your own little program. So when I talk about your own personalized program, is you'll have a clear vision of where you're headed. You'll have a clear vision of the habits that you're going to need to start to implement to create that life. You'll also have a really clear plan of how to keep moving forward even when shit hits the fan. Things change, life happens, right? So that's what you will have by the end of this program. So if you are ready to take that step, I really, really would love to have you in this program. We're starting on the 31st of January for the next live round. And at the moment, I'm offering a number of bonuses for those that are joining from this workshop. So I can't even remember how many bonuses there are. I think there's 4 actually. So the first bonus is the Vibe program, which is one of my online programs I did last year that helps you in like choosing your vibration. Like this stuff goes into our feminine, masculine energies. It is amazing. I've had women change their whole lives just from that one program. You'll get that completely free when you sign up in the next 48 hours. You'll also get the pleasure program. Now, this program, I did this as a live online program, but I also did it as an in-person workshop, and the women loved it. It was amazing. It was so much fun. So the pleasure program goes into different ways to have more pleasure into your life. We talk about more deeply into the sexual energy side of things. You will love that if you're at a place where you're wanting to really revitalize yourself and be shifting into the woman that you really want to become. So that program will also be free. And these programs I sell for $222 each. So both of those will be free. Plus, I've also got a little tutorial pack of my organizational system of how I plan and do all of the things in my life. So I'm a digital planner. So I take you through all free software that I use to plan my whole life and my business. So I take you through all of that. So you get all of those completely free as well. And I don't actually sell those. Those are only given to my one-on-one clients. So you'll actually get those in this program as well. Now, the final bonus for those that want to pay in full, I also have a payment plan if you're interested as well. But for those who want to pay in full, they'll also get a one-on-one consult with me as well. So we can actually do that at the start if you want to, or at the end, or in the middle of the program, whenever you like, to actually walk you through some of those, the issues that you're having. So that's a bonus purely for those that pay in full, which is a really exciting bonus. I'm really excited to share that with women because I love talking, as you can probably tell. So these are the bonuses that are available for the next 48 hours. So until the 15th of January, that evening, those bonuses will be available. So I'm really excited to share them with you. And if you have any questions at all, I want you to email me, or you can send me a message or leave a comment, and I can chat to you through Facebook, social media, wherever you are. And I would love for you to share this with other women who you feel as though they are really going to love this, because when we start to do this work, we also start to look at, okay, we want to build our network, but we also we really want to share this information. You know, when you start to shift and your life is becoming incredible, you want to tell everyone about that, right? So get your friends on board, get your sister, your family, whatever it is, on board with this program. I would love to share that with them as well. So you can share this post, this video as well on social media. I would be so grateful for that. I want to try and get this program into as many women's hands as possible and start to see this incredible shift with women. I am so heartbroken when I see women who have young children or going through divorce, which is what I have been through in the past 2 years, or going through massive changes in their life, and they feel as though like they're the only one going through it, or they just feel like there's so much shift happening. I don't know how to make these changes. I don't know how to do this. This is what this program is all about. So I would love for you to share that. Let me know if you have any questions. The program is $400, pay in full. This is Australian dollars, or we have a payment plan over 3 months as well. So if you need that option, that's available too. This program is going to be amazing. I'm really excited to be sharing this with you. We kick off on the 31st of January. All the calls are recorded, so you can watch them at any time. You can also ask questions at any time. They'll all be answered inside our group. And there's also the option to upgrade to one-on-one support if you would like to do that as well. You can do it afterwards if you prefer. Whatever you want to do. I'm here to help you, and I'm really excited to share this with you. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this workshop. I'll put all the links that you need in the comments below, and please send me a message if you have any questions. All right, have an amazing day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.